Good day and welcome back. So here's the first installment of the Ford GT-40 Mark II from 1966, the Ford versus Ferrari car. This is the first car I have tried to do moderately seriously in a long time. And the techniques are very different from what I'm used to. Toolkit, equipment, paint, all the things are not the kind of things I'm used to having to do, and it's showing. But I'll kind of get into the details of that here into the video. For those of you who are watching that are car guys, please feel free to offer up suggestions. This whole journey is about learning. So I'm taking on this model simply because it daunted me, right? It's something that was, I want the subject, but I felt like it was outside of my capability, which basically meant I got to try it. Worst case scenario, I don't get the awesome result, and maybe I'll try again later. But I'm learning. So, car guys, please feel free, offer up suggestions, put them down below. I'm happy to listen and learn, because that's my whole point. So with that, let's go ahead and cut to getting started on this thing. All right, so I have gotten myself as far as step 6 in this build, and I'm fumbling along, and I'll be honest, I haven't captured quite as much on video simply because I'm spending a lot of time trying to figure stuff out. I am finding I'm having to paint as I go, which is slightly different for me. Working on armor and a lot of these things, you can do a lot of sub-assembly and paint things as sub-assembly and put final it together. But I'm finding that there's a lot of paint as I go. I'm also finding that I don't have the right paint, so I'm really hoping I haven't totally ruined this thing, and we'll talk to that in a minute. So first steps here, right? The brakes for the front. Just paint them gunmetal, put in the poly caps. They went on fine, right? Then it's putting together these other detail pieces inside the cabin, cockpit, whatever you want to call it. Painting it really wasn't that big a deal. The detail was kind of not really that bad. The thing is, what I found is I didn't have the right color paint for this kind of a thing. All the paints that I've used up to this point have been like flat, very thin. I don't have the colors that for this that I really need, so I'm trying to use my airbrush and my Vallejo colors, and it's just not going down well for me. I ended up having to get a rattle can for the blue because I just can't figure out how to mix this blue. And to get it all the same color, I'm going with a rattle can of aqua, satin aqua, which is close to what I'm after, right? So that's what I'm after, and this is kind of what I'm ending up with. So it's a little bit brighter, but it'll work. Again, I'm not gonna. You can actually get the right color. You can, I think it's AK, but I tried to order it. I haven't been able to. So it's, I ordered it like 2 months ago, and it's still on waiting for fulfillment. So when it gets around to it, I'll have it. But I kind of wanted to work on this, and this is really the first car I've done sort of semi-seriously, so I'm kind of making do. The paint is going on far heavier than I really wanted to, so I'm having to adapt to how to handle this. Again, I'll talk about that in a minute. Step, putting the shift in the I see that I had some overspray here. I'm gonna have to fix, and I'll tell you about how that happened in a minute, but I'm gonna have to fix that. Putting the pedals on, etc., painting that, really not that difficult. Flip it over, not flip it over, but put in this bracket right here. Basically paint it gunmetal, get that put in. I didn't paint this part because I can't quite figure out how that's supposed to go, so I'm going to kind of roll with it the way it is. I did put the detail, the silver highlight, or not highlights, but detail painting there. I did get that done. This blue really was heavy and not going in well. Painted up the shocks. Then I had to kind of do paint all red and then go back and highlight the spring. That was just a little bit of hairy brush paint. That wasn't too bad. Get them put on. Then you put the cabin piece, cockpit piece into this big piece here. So here's where my first real phase of mocking up. So what I did is I hit all this with the aqua, taped it off, then went back and hit it with the deep blue. And you can see the blemishes here and the way that went. I do need to go back and repaint this, or actually paint this, the gunmetal color, and that's just a matter of going back and doing it. But while I was working on this, you can see that I'm struggling a bit with these pieces here because of the gloss of the paint, the way the paint goes in. So I'm struggling with this. I'm going to have to sand this off and do that again to try and get a better look to it. Something I found, and so this blue is a satin, and it's coming out okay, but I really kind of want to go for that deeper finish. You can see here where it's still kind of satiny, right? So what I did is I hit this with I forget what it's to me is gloss. To me it's like wet lacquer, whatever the name of it is. Actually, it's right here. Oh, extreme lacquer. Here we go. This stuff. So I hit it with this stuff. This is the first time I tried to do this, and that got it mostly the way. But then I had to go back with the multiple layers of different grits to sand it down to more of a mirror finish, or more of a really heavy gloss finish, and that worked on these. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it with these, with the curves on this. I think I'm going to have to use the polishing cloths to get there. This is, again, me learning. And you car guys, I'm sure I am doing this totally wrong. Feel free to make gentle and kind suggestions on methodology. I have a very poor airbrush. I have very poor airbrushing skills. And I am learning. This is me trying to figure this out. So please feel free to offer up suggestions. Try to keep the condescension to a minimum. But I've got, I was testing this out, but then when I went to do this, I went to hit it with another layer of the gloss, and this happened. Yeah, I picked up the blue. So I went to hit this with a gloss, and I went right over here and hit it with this dark blue, which meant I had to remask it, repaint the light blue, then go back and redo, regloss, etc. And that's where that overspray and some of this overspray happened, was when I thought I'd masked that off, but I didn't. So live and learn, again, that's what we're doing, right? I'm trying to make this come out okay. And so we're going to kind of keep rambling on with this. So I got this far and got some cleanup and fixing to do, and we'll go back and do that. So, and like I said, the real frustrating thing is I don't have access to the nice AK paints. I'm struggling. I've tried to order and I'm struggling with them, or struggling to get them. So I'm making do with the Vallejo and what I have here. So I'm kind of making do. It's not coming out as nice as I would like it, but is what it is. Get this step done. Go and put these brackets on. Got this done. This I base coated and hairy brushed the red. So those got in, and then I pretty much have stepped aside. I finished up the coloring on this. I got to go back and finish a couple of spots that are missed, but I'm kind of unifying the colors, right, with hairy brush. So that's that piece. Then we move the engine. Now, if I'm reading this right, MC501 is a gold. So the majority of D10, D11, D23, and D26 are gold. Majority of D24, 13, 14, and 18 are black. So I built those sub-assemblies together and have them in gold and black. And now as I look through the details here, right, we can see that there are mixed colors, right? So the pipes are MC502, which is a silver. And with that gumming on the, on this metallic, I'm going to have to be careful on how I put that on. These wheels are silver, so I can go back, and then this one is black with the belt. So I think instead of using black, I'm going to use like rubber tires. It's sort of an off black. I like that look a little better. I've hit these pieces with black. I can see spots that I've missed. I have to go back and have to do that side. So it's simple enough for me to go back and just flip it around and hit those things that I missed. So I'll have that done. And that's as far as I've gotten so far. Oh, and I did C20, which is this frame piece right here that will drop in there. And I did get that one painted silver. So I've got that much done. This is how far I've gotten. So, with that said, I am a little bit frustrated. I'm frustrated because I recognize my problem is my tools. My problem is my tools and the equipment I have to put this together, and I'm trying to make do. And I'm primed all this with Mr. Surfacer 1500, so it's a good primer, and I'm happy with that part of it. But there's a lot of techniques that I do not know, and I'm trying to use the YouTube and find. I've seen a few other folks, Scale Motor and Plasmo, have done very similar. Scale Motor did this one. Plasmo did a different year of this model. So I'm struggling with the methodologies and how to do this. So I'm working at it. I'm working on it. So yeah, this is me learning something brand new, and this is how far I've gotten thus far with this build. At this point, I'm going to call this episode done here at the start of step 7. Between now and getting into that, I will do the detail painting here on the engine. I'll get the engine brought together, and I'll hit this again, and then I'm going to go back and highlight, brush highlight, find what would be appropriate ways to highlight these. Probably that's what I'm looking for. Dry brush. There we go. Dry brush to bring up some of these ribs. I do need to fill in these spots that I missed. Detail these out, and then get these. I want to get this. I feel like I need to get this weathered before I drop it down into the where the motor goes, and by weather I mean get it a little bit of a lived in dirty look without making it filthy. So that's my goal. That's what I want to do. This is where I am right now. With that said, I'm going to call this episode done. So again, thank you very much for watching. Hope this is helpful, entertaining, and for those of you who are car guys and want to go ahead and help give me some guidance, please feel free to do so. I'm happy to listen. Again, like I said, this whole thing is me learning. So, and I'm happy to hear suggestions on things that I can do differently. Things that I've already done, I can't go back and undo, but if there's things I can do going forward, I would love to hear it. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time, happy modeling.